Ramdel, my video and everything?
Yes, I can see you. Yes, clear.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Or we just stand 138.
Hi, Abhishek.
138.
Hello.
Hello, Abhishek.
Hi, can you
How
hear
many
me?
people? Which one?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Just type the number.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Kavin. Good evening. Rendu Kavinikkume good evening. Just I am making the co-host. Oh, give me 1 minute. Priya has joined already or not yet?
I'm here, Uncle.
Okay, I'll make you as co-host. Okay.
Thank you.
And mainly Abhishek. Abhishek needs to
Yeah,
be.
Abhishek, Dr. Yedil, Mr. Ramdil, Priya, all are co-hosts now. Okay. Anything to brief? Mr. Kabin will take the MC role today. He will be handling until myself and Dr. Ilanand to handle the session. After that, he will hand over to Ms. Priya. So Priya will take care for the remaining people, and then the portfolio of UK concern. So any other thing? So you can start to share any slides and other thing. I will record both in computer as well as live to the YouTube. So later I will share the link.
Okay. Dr. Ram, can I introduce you to Ramdil? Ramdil, you wanted to just say, come and say hello to Dr. Ram?
Yeah, he already mentioned. I saw
Okay,
first.
okay, have you spoken? Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Hello, yeah.
Hello, I already spoken to Dr. Ram, yeah.
Okay, that's fine, Ramdil. Yeah, Ram has spoken to Ram. Yes.
Yeah, Ram versus Ram. Here also the two guys, Kavin versus Kavin.
Kavin,
They are
yeah.
in junior college. Next year they wanted to join.
Hello, Kevin.
So when is school system? When does the school open every year?
December
in
finish. November.
December, and then okay, January is academic
January,
year, is it?
Yeah, academic year. January to December, yeah.
Because
Does
in
it,
UK, all the universities start in September. September is the academic
They are
year.
all IBDP program.
so you're doing international baccalaureate, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually,
Yes.
they are in the global #1 ranked school.
Oh, that's very good.
So
Their school
what is the
ranked
name of the school?
Anglo-Chinese School Independent in Singapore. So reputed institution, so they have to take their role and the response according to it.
The IB is one of the
Yeah.
qualification which is widely recognized in UK.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage actually for international
Not,
students.
not only in UK, I think even in US also, that's a premier high school education now globally.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'd like to mention Mr. Anandan. His
Yeah.
daughter also pursued her in medicine in UK.
Okay.
So
Yeah, she'll be graduating in 2 months' time in Scotland.
Scotland.
let me start. I will start the recording. And
Anglo-Chinese Independent School from Singapore produces more number of perfect scorers than any other school around the world. Perfect means 44 out of 44 score.
Yes, sir.
yeah, Kavin, you can start.
Okay, pleasant evening to distinguished guests, honorable speakers, and audience. I'm Kavin Sasikumar, a Year 6 IB student in Anglo-Chinese School Independent. I will be the MC for today. It's my pleasure to warmly welcome you to today's international virtual seminar on Want to Study Medicine in the United Kingdom Medical Universities, organized by ACE International Private Limited Singapore and Educate the World, Educate Medical LLP, powered by Guild of International Speakers and Trainers. In the educational field, university choices serve to be a vital and pivotal moment in every student's life. As such, both students and parents place significant importance towards exploring different university choices. Especially choosing a healthcare career abroad is always a crucial choice. We invite you to participate in this fantastic virtual seminar today, equipping with global abilities and skills for a future profession. You will get more knowledge and skills from this course to help you plan and get ready for healthcare career options in the UK and abroad. Our organizers are ACE International Private Limited Singapore, Aspiring Community for Excellence. Was registered as a company in Singapore in January 2018, holding the vision of offering professional consultancy services in learning and development, career development, and technology transfer segments. ACE International Private Limited also establishes its business network in science and technology areas. Moreover, they are passionate to conduct capability building and professional development programs in workshops and trainings, in emerging technologies, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills for institutions, industries, and companies. They entail high-profile and talented speakers who can empower the community of learners, definitely enrich and transform their knowledge, skills, and attitude. ACE International is willing to work with potential collaborator partners to excel for next level of exploration by exchanging their values and strengths. They hope to receive inquiries and joint venturing opportunities to establish in local, regional, and global manner. Educate the World aims to grow children into productive world citizens who use their knowledge, talents, critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and global interconnectedness to sustain themselves and help others, while pushing the human race forward in areas of equality, equity, and harmony. It also provides adult education to improve the quality of life. They have started doing career events, medical university entry seminars, and trainings since 2018 to increase education awareness, which in turn improves self-esteem, better career prospects, and better understanding of the world and people in it. Next up, Guild of International Speakers and Trainers, registered as a society in Singapore on July 2018 to serve better for the people and community in our society, to excel and empower well, It holds the vision of connecting Singapore and the world with a network of distinguished speakers and professional trainers across various disciplines in order to build human empowerment capabilities and strategies towards excellence. Its mission is to guide, inspire, shape, and transform. For the values of Guild of International Speakers and Trainers, it is building an innovative learning, knowledge sharing, and social development paradigm across cultures and capabilities with passion, ethics, integrity, diligence, and discipline. Thank you to our organizers. Playing a vital role in today's virtual conference are renowned speakers and specialists, and youth with a deep interest in the medical field. Let us extend our appreciation to our speakers with us here today with a virtual round of applause. We have Dr. B. Ramanathan, Founder and Managing Director of ACE International Private Limited and President, Guild of International Speakers and Trainers, and Vice Chairman, Singapore South Asia Chamber of Commerce and Industry Singapore. Dr. Iril Anand, MBBS and Medical Science Nottingham, FRC Psychiatry UK, Consultant Psychiatrist, NHS in Yorkshire, and Educate the World, Educate Medical LLP in United Kingdom. We have Mr. Ramdil Srinivasa, BE MBA, and part of the Educate the World, United Kingdom. Ms. Shurpriya Trinyana Raja, Operation Manager of Educate the World, United Kingdom, and Dr. Abhishek Subramaniam, Medical Student, University of Plymouth, United Kingdom, and Educate the World, United Kingdom. Our first speaker here today is Dr. Ramanathan, Founder and Managing Director of ACE International Private Limited, Singapore. He is a PhD holder in biomedical science with more than 25 years of experiences in research and development, learning and development, and business development in India, Taiwan, and Singapore. His research experiences engaged in biomedical science and clinical research areas in renowned institutions, as well as healthcare industries. He has published several research articles, book chapters, and also provided keynote addresses in conferences and seminars. He has also received several awards and rewards for his achievements. He is a WSQ ACTA certified trainer cum assessor to coordinate training and facilitation programs under approved training organization affiliated to Workforce Development Authority, Singapore. He is an expert in quality, environment, health and safety, internal audit, process and procedures for institutions, companies, and industries. He is holding several management positions and memberships in a number of social organizations and professional associations in national and international level. He is currently acting as Vice Chairperson, Parent Supporter Group in Tanglin Secondary School, Singapore, and he's very keen to organize international conferences, symposia, seminars, webinars, training sessions, and workshops, awarding programs and competitions all around the world. Further, he has acted as a mentor and coach for many projects to guide them in various fields at different levels. His burning desire is to offer the professional consultancy services in business and management, learning and development, knowledge and innovative technology transfer segments. He is very much interested to formulate institute and industry partnership to provide real-time learning, on-job training, experiential learning, internship opportunities, and to create better startup ecosystem in the institutional atmosphere. He is passionate in supporting to raise investments and procure business funding supports for companies, institutions, and industries who wish to upskill their business in the business operation into next level. Let us now welcome him to share his details. Dr. Ram, please.
Thank you, Kavin, for your wonderful starting and introduced about me and then our motivation for this particular session, how to organize and what to give the benefit for the people. Good evening, all. It is great pleasure for me to handhold with Dr. Iril Anand and his team. It's really wonderful occasion for us. Many long time we were talking about that, and it is getting materialized as of now. As he mentioned about me very well, and I am engaging several activities in order to make the intellectual community who are having the global perspectives as well as the capabilities to meet out as per the requirement, because the demand is very high. If you are not having the global concern or global skills, then you cannot win in the race. That's why we wanted to handhold together with the different eminent personalities interrelated with different disciplines as well as different capacities. So we have to provide the support for those people who wanted to aspire and continue their higher education in United Kingdom or other countries, especially in medical studies. So I would like to start from my slides. Could you view the slides now? Choosing
Yes.
a global healthcare career, it is really a puzzle for many people because whether they are very good in their basic education in the respective countries with the respective curriculum or any other details what they procure, but we have to focus well for the scenario which is making them to understand better. So we have to focus for the global health career is a demanding career and it is providing a lot of challenges and opportunities for those people who are correctly approaching it. The slides getting changed or?
No, sir, they are still.
Okay. So the sustainability development goals as of now, giving the respective thinking capacity for the people to adapt and focus well for the community, how it would be for them. So there are a lot of factors which are putting in forth, especially here the 17 factors from the number 1 is no poverty to 17 is partnerships for the goals. Especially the good quality education, the number 4 is very much important, as well as the other communities which are making them to transform into the next level. So there are a lot of questions behind with this sustainability development, but through the quality education, it will make and emphasize the particular matters to keep up well. According to these particular slides, we could identify the number of institutions or the organizations in the global level, but now it is the condition for them to keep up well through the social media. The organizations, especially the healthcare organizations, they wanted to use different kind of platforms to meet out the challenges to turn into opportunities. So we have to focus well for those holistic approach, whether the curriculum it is based upon with the medicine, but we have to focus simultaneously for the IT solutions, which are very much demanding as of now. The global wellness economy, the GDP ratio is $5.6 trillion in 2022, but it is going to become double in consecutive years. So we have to focus well for the areas which are very much demanding for the GDP ratio to increase well, either personal care or healthy eating, nutrition and weight loss management, or wellness in the real estate and resorts and other things, mental wellness or wellness tourism, traditionally and traditional medicine or the complementary medicine, which are making its own value for that. Other than that, the public health prevention and personalized medicine, that is also booming a lot because personal medical care is the key factor for many people they wanted to follow. Healthcare market, especially the intelligence support providing the aspects, the top trends and the market analysis, especially the trend 1, raising the bar on data collection and analyzation, because current features, the reality is very important. Excuse me, please mute yourself, or Kavin, please try to mute them. Trend 1, the raising the bar on data collection and real analyzation. That is also very important strategy according to the current trends. Trend 2, adoption of smart technology, because there are a lot of AI intervention oriented technologies are booming, and machine learning, automation, or any robotic equipments and other procurements. So we have to focus very much for the smart technology adaptation. Need for transparency in the healthcare. Even we are adapting to the government portfolio and compliance, but there are a lot of things are not open to the scenario, and need to protect the data source, especially the personal data protection policy kind of aspects. US healthcare industry, there are a lot of things are emerging, especially the artificial intelligence is going to be a #1 co-worker along with the manual operations. Challenges to the pharmaceutical industry, especially drug discovery and development or distribution of pharmaceutical products. That is also a big challenging one. Enhancing the patient experience will occupy the center of the stage. Customer-centric values are very important. So we have to protect all sources of the patient's data source or the personal informations.
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Ram. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
Slides are passed actually. Just make it slideshow mode and it's not moving. Yeah.
It's not moving. That's why I asked you in the earlier time. Wait. That's why initially I wanted to check. Okay. So can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it now. But whatever you explained so far, we did not see. I don't know whether you can. Yeah.
No, that's why the second slides I moved. I asked, but no response. Okay. The Sustainability Development Goals prescribed by the UN, United Nations, there are 17 factors available with this scenario. Good quality educations, one among them. So the quality educations endorse the particular matter, which is going to prepare the future workforce and giving the opportunity for them to work well for the reality. That is very, very important. And then the global healthcare organizations, especially they are in the mode of transformation to the social media. That is also very important for us to consider, because we have to align together with the IT sources or new generation technologies, which are empowering the current scenario and giving the reality to work on well. And the GDP ratio, currently it is valued around 5.6 trillion in the year 2022. There are many segments we have to focus. The personal care and the beauty thing, this is around $1,089 billion worth. That is the major category. Next to that, healthy eating and nutrition and weight loss. That is also important. Physical activity also must need to focus well. Wellness tourism or public health care, traditional and complementary medicines. These are all the value addition for the GDP ratio in the health and wellness kind of aspects. Healthcare market, the intelligence support, providing the trend sets and the market analysis. The first trend is raising the bar on data collection and analysis. The trend set 2, adoption of smart technologies like AI intervention, machine learning, robotics, automation equipments, and so on. Trend 3 is the transparency in the healthcare data sources. That is very much important for the procurement and security of the data sources as per the PDPA compliances. US healthcare industry has the overview and the latest healthcare trend sets. #1 is the challenge to the pharmaceutical industry by real world evidence, because a lot of data sources in the drug discovery and development, which are pooling and identifying the way how to project the value for the new targets. Artificial intelligence is going to be a new co-worker along with the manual segregations. So we must need to adopt the better thing for the artificial intelligence source to support and enhance and efficient treatment for the patients in the hospitals. Enhancing the patient experience, that is also occupying the center of the stage as per the customer-centric values related to the patient's wellness. Patients engagement, there are several best practices for the healthcare companies to succeed. First one is the equal focus on all patients. That is very important, because there are a lot of discriminations and deviations from the handling of patients, but we have to make the complementary thing to enhance the patient's betterment. Investment in real-time risk assessment. There are a lot of risk factors endorsed with the treatment or efficient therapy methods. We must need to focus well for the risk assessment. Prioritize the care and quality to serve service better. That is also because of the prioritize the planning and execution. That is also giving the better quality and provide the efficient service. One Health promotes a sustainable and healthy future through collaboration, communication, coordination, and capacity building. So there are several sectors and disciplines to engage the holistic approach, human, animal, and environment matters. The society which are providing the opportunity to work in the urban area or rural area or moving communities, that is also very much important for us. The One Health giving the healthy ecosystem, healthy human beings, and a healthy animal ecosystem. So we have to make the collaboration with the different stakeholders, like who are having the better communication skills or communication medium, coordinating well with the government and the public sectors or the CSR value products supports, capacity building to engage the workforce who are having the efficiency to exhibit for the ecosystem, making the partnership and collaboration with the different stakeholders available in the different country atmospheres. Why is the analytics important for the healthcare? So there are many segments, but here very few we have to focus well. Prevention of diseases, the communicable diseases or any natural disasters, managing things we have to focus well. And seasonal disease spreading also we must need to think of that. Facilitates the diagnosis. The better diagnostic will give the focus and guidelines to give the efficient treatment and therapy. Reduces the fraudulent practices. There are like something misbehaves available in the environment. We have to focus for the right person and right conditions to provide the better treatment. The real-time aids that is also closely monitoring and reporting to the particular patient to the clinic or the particular doctors who are handling the patients. So it is also very important. There are a lot of wearables and devices are available in the market and which is connected to the immediate things to segregate the data to the particular physician who are handling the patient. Skills are very important. As of now, the healthcare skills providing the opportunity to build the knowledge about the epidemiological parameters and the procurements, understanding better about the healthcare on human behavior. It's a holistic approach, body, mind, soul, all together we have to work well. Knowledge of the healthcare system, that is also important because day to day the activities and systematic approaches inside the hospital and other areas are developing. So we must need to provide the continuous skills development for the people who are handling or involving with the stakeholding ecosystem. Soft skills, it is providing the teamwork skills, leadership qualities, extensive communication skills, the cultural intelligence. They are handling different kind of people. So we need to build the cross-culture ability to handle well. Critical thinking skills, the research and analysis technique, the clinical data and other procurements, they have to deal with that, analyze and publish. Ability to interrelate the healthcare and non-healthcare factors. Problem solving skills, that is the most important and essential requirement as of now. Ability to speak and understand more than one language. If they know many languages, it would be added advantage for them to handle different ecosystem or the people values. Top 3 jobs for global healthcare: epidemiologist, global health consultant, health education, who are tutoring or giving the lectures for the people who are studying in that atmosphere. Research program on the challenge of global health issues. We have to focus the research institute oriented kind of multi-structures hospital where we can pull together that real-time data, translation medicine kind of bench to bed, bed to bench kind of aspects. That is very much important. In many countries, they are building the researchers hospital to equip well for the learning and the working atmospheres put together. Global home healthcare services, the market is very big as of now. It is having the growth set like every year 9%. There are a lot of issues behind that. We have to prepare well and focus well for the stakeholders who can support for the therapy or efficiency of medicine to procure and deliver. Global medical recruitment market is growing very big. It will be accelerating in coming year. Every year it is focusing for 4.3% increase. But year 2030, there are a lot of requirements. So we have to focus well for engaging the institution-oriented kind of atmosphere to prepare well for the future workforce demand. Computerized physician order, this is the telemedicine kind of opportunity where the equipments and the system will coordinate well to the physician to handle the telemedicine market. So it is also having nearly 6.7% of growth rate. Primary care physicians market, now the newborn babies, the pediatricians and other conditions are booming up. So we must need to focus well for the physicians who are in the primary care, as well as the village-oriented kind of hospitals, the primary health centers, where the children and the mother or old age people, how to coordinate well for the remote areas. The mobile medical equipments are, the vehicles are supporting a lot. So we have to focus for those areas as well. Projected percent for the employment exchange, especially the physician assistants and other stakeholders involved with the ecosystem, we have to focus well. It is not only engaging the physicians, but the team members also must very much important to focus. We have to equip them, engage them, and train them very well. The market reports, the worldwide, it is continuous assessment and report to the areas of development. We have to think and focus well for the market segmentation, the analysis, or the publications which are emphasizing the current scenario and the challenges which make you to understand and find the solution to keep a kind of opportunity to procure well. There are a lot of conferences in the global level. We have to focus and prepare for those kind of things, how to make ourselves to involve with these global conferences and other things. We can organize these kind of conferences in the periodical manner. We can tie up with the institutions or industries or public sectors, government sectors altogether, how to generate the values and prepare the updates to segregate for the people. So our ACE International providing the opportunity to empower the community and people for the excellence value. And we are providing the applied learning program to train and develop new generation technologies to procure well. It is motivating for them to build the capacity. STEM education in the school level, there are a lot of lacking and a gap available in the new generation technology, not available in the curriculum. So we are equipping well for them to learn and explore well through the extracurricular activities. We are arranging the educational exchange programs, faculty exchange programs, and conducting different kind of workshops all over the world. And we are very much supportive for that. Global immersion program, the cross-cultural learning is very important to understand and adopt better for the different cultural environment. Global education is the need of the hour. We have to focus well how to benefit and gain according to the scenario, which are providing the employability opportunity and increasing the confidence among the workforces and making them to plan for the future career goals and career aspects. And they're mostly the multinational companies, they are willing to recruit the people who are having multinational kind of studies or experiences. Empower yourself through the society, and we are making the bridging the gap and making the portfolio how to build these kind of sources through knowledge, collaboration, and exploration. So we have to work together and prepare well for the future workforces to keep for us. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Is there any questions I will answer, or later we can discuss in the question and answer session? over to Kabin.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Ram, for your excellent and detailed speech on the skills required in the education abroad, along with the different proximities to the medical education field and the abroad opportunities provided for students. Let us now give a round of digital applause for Dr. Ram. Any questions from the floor for Dr. Ram? Feel free to post your questions in the chat box, which might be covered in the Q&A segment after our speeches as well. So any other final speech questions on Dr. Ram's speech before we move on? Okay, so let us have the questions. Yeah, any questions?
Yeah, you can move on.
Good session, Ram. Very informative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good
Okay,
session.
so-
Thank you, Ram. I don't have any questions. Good session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let us move on to our second speaker right now. Our second speaker for today's virtual seminar is Dr. Yearlin Anand, MBBS India, M Medical Science Nottingham, and FRCP Psychiatry UK. He serves as a doctor, consultant psychiatrist, working in the NHS in Yorkshire. Moving into the UK in 1999, he did his basic postgraduate in psychiatry training in Nottingham and higher training in Oxford. He currently works in Bradford. He was an executive committee member of the Royal College of Psychiatrists. His qualifications are MBBS India, M Medical Science Nottingham, and FRC Psychiatry, as mentioned. He considers himself as a social entrepreneur. His voluntary and business activities include one founder of the Yorkshire Indian Business Network, with the aim of uniting entrepreneurs in the UK, having more than 1,800 members, including women. He's also the current president of the Global Indian Organization, ex-director of an education center in Bradford. He's currently involved in coaching, tutoring students to get into medicine in the United Kingdom, and also mentoring junior doctors. They are in the process of setting up and mentoring for junior doctors and consultants. More details could be seen in www.educatetheworld.co.uk. He has also recently published a book, Want to Get into a Medical School in the UK. He is also the founder of an online British Indian Tamil radio station and a healthy eating group called Curry Watchers. He's also an ambassador for Bradford for Everyone project in Bradford and a board member for voluntary group CABAD, Community Action Bradford and District. He has also organized numerous community, educational, sports, and social events in Oxford and Yorkshire, and fundraised more than a huge amount towards Gaja cyclone victims in India early this year. He has got numerous awards for community work, including at the British Parliament. In December 2019, he was a runner-up at the Community Champion Award and received a certificate from Mayor of Bradford. His Bradford for Everyone ambassadors were winners of the Community Award in 2021. He also supports sports teams, a mature Indian women's hockey team, and charity initiatives. So let us now invite Dr. Yearlin Anand to share his details. Dr. Yearlin Anand, please.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Kavin and Dr. Ram for, first of all, inviting our Educate the World team to share our opinion and about what we do to this event. We will keep it very brief today. I do understand it is late evening and almost nighttime in Singapore. We are still, we just started our day and around lunchtime here in UK. A bit about my background. I'm a medical doctor, and as you rightly said, we need to empower people through knowledge. And that's the reason we have our company called Educate the World, whose main motto is to provide a low-cost education to everyone. Currently, we do mentor students who wants to go into medicine in UK. We started career counseling and offering advice about 7 years ago, and we have been formalizing things over the last few years. Hundreds of people have gone through our system and have been helped by our team. I have my team today, my business partner, Mr. Ramdil, medical student Abhishek Subramaniam, who is the lead for what we call the MMI interviews. And we have Priya, who is the operations manager for our company. It's going to be a very brief speech today. And Abhishek will be talking about just the fundamentals of studying medicine in UK. So that's a huge, it's normally we do as a one-day workshop, but we just wanted to give a brief idea, and more details can be done if you join our group, which I will share in the chat box if you want to have further information about our ongoing classes on how to get into medicine. So with that in mind, I next call upon Ramdil to talk briefly before we move on to Abhishek, who is going to talk to you for about 20 minutes about the process of getting an admission into the UK. So we can have any questions, post your queries in the chat box, and we can have a discussion at the end. Thank you, Kavin. And I will next request Ramdil to come and briefly talk about his vision about our company. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Elil, for that introduction.
Good evening. Good evening.
I hope you can all hear me. I think
Yes.
Dr. Elil, and just to give a brief about what is Educate Medical is. Elil and I call it Elil, Dr. Anand and myself, we had a passion for education generally. And then the whole process started some 8 years ago when we were sitting ourselves and thinking about medical education for our own kids. We found the whole thing is so much information all over, and it was quite a daunting process for us. Then we thought how to go about it. So we want to get to the nitty-gritties of medical admission and how to secure a seat for the children who are high achievers in a way, academically. And in UK, just academic excellence alone is not enough. They're looking on other categories. So how to get there? So that is how the whole Educate the program has started, actually. And then we are able to create a forum, and then we are able to bring in high-performing students who already secured the seats, and they give us the explanation how to get into medical school. Then we thought we should make it as a program and help the other future students getting into medical schools. That's all how it started. And the last 8 years, we have done over 100 programs, training programs and webinars and so on. And we got ridiculous amount of positive reviews and from all the students who benefited from this. And in fact, our resources currently are most for the students who have benefited from our own system, what we created some 8 years ago. So it's going on well. And then we became quite made it more formally, and then we are trying to expand our program in this program. In that thing, Abhi was also one of our MMI program lead actually, and he was one of the students who was originally benefited from our own program from the Educate Medical Group. So just going back to getting international students getting into medical education in UK, first of all, it is tough. It is very competitive. Yeah, there's no escape from that. Medical education is very competitive for the local students as well as for international students. And to give a brief about it, like Manchester's got something like 700 applicants last year, and then only 28 students were able to get among the international students. So if we are looking as a ratio, you're looking at 6%. Sorry, somebody was interrupting, but you're getting about 6% of successful applicants who are getting into the medical school from the international students. I just briefly talk about what are the advantages of studying in UK. First of all, you are getting it in a world-class education and training. The medical schools in UK, the top-notch medical schools are in UK actually. Out of Out of 100 top schools in the world, 10 schools are from UK actually. So there is strong emphasis on research and clinical practice. There is another advantage for you to get into in the UK. There's a strong history and tradition also, medical education and training actually. I'm sure you all remember Alexander Fleming, who was the penicillin, who found penicillin actually, which saved millions of people in the society. He's from UK. Joseph Lister, who found the antisepsis, all from UK. So UK always been a forefront in medical innovation and research actually. So you could be part of that one. Then the other aspect is also you will be part of the diverse and multicultural environment. Because in UK, if you look at it, the whole universities, there are a lot of international students come to study here in UK, especially in medical, not only medical, in other sectors as well, engineering and general management, finance and law and everything. So you will be surrounded by, in an environment, by people coming from various countries and various group of people with a different ethnicity and culture. So what the advantage of in that aspect is enhances your personal growth and also your adaptive ability. So that's a great thing to have as a professional career in the future as a medical career, having a medical career actually. There are certain things then, international medical students also get extensive support from the medical universities. So you can just communicate with the schools of your choice and then they will give a lot of support in that respect actually. Well, these are the advantages of doing medicine in UK, but there are disadvantages as well. So I'll just briefly tell you about it. The cost is one thing. It's very high cost. I think medical tuition fees is ranging something like 32K to 40K, depending upon the medical school you select. That is one aspect. And the second thing is living cost. Living cost can range something like 20K if you're living in London. Somewhere else could be slightly less. So you need to think about how this budget can fit in your own investment in the education actually. Then the entry requirement is competitive. The UCAT system is very competitive. You need to do UCAT, you have a personal interviews, and you need to write a personal statement. And I think as a foreign student, you also need to have some IELTS score. They had a high score expected on, and there are some universities also provide that coaching for English coaching, language coaching as well. And I think Abhishek will take morely in the subsequent programs. He can tell you, he'll detail the things. He has decoder. We have decoders in our educator program, how to get into medical schools. It is not working hard. You need to work hard and you need to have focus. But more than working hard, you have to work smart. And that is where we come into actually. So we have designed our program in a way that will help you to achieve your admission in UK. Apart from competition, the other negative aspect, I wouldn't say negative aspect, that is the nature of medical course, is very lengthy, is it not? So you have a 5 to 6 years medical degree program. Then you have 2 years of foundation training, and then you got another 3 to 8 years of specialist training actually. So be ready for a long program, long training things. And with that, I wish you all the best in your pursuit for medical education in UK. And I'll ask my colleague Abhishek to take over and then give the further information on medical education in UK for the international students. Thank you very much.
Over to you, Abhishek, if you wanted to start your presentation.
Can I please get a co-host access so I can share the PowerPoint, please?
Yeah, you are the co-host. You can start.
I'm not the co-host, Dr. Ram.
She's joined us, Sivapriya, or Sivapriya is her name.
Abhishek, I made you already a co-host.
Good afternoon. Yes, Shivapriya will be sharing the slides for me. Is it possible if you could make her the co-host, please?
Yeah, you can share to Priya. Priya can.
Because I'm not the co-host, I'm unable to share the PowerPoint.
No, all of you are co-hosts. You can share the screen.
Uncle, at the moment, I'm not co-host. When I try and click screen share, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yourself, you are Priya or Abhishek?
I'm Sivapriya.
Sivapriya. No, she'll be joined as Sivapriya. Sivapriya.
Okay, wait, I'll check. Okay, I'll make you as a co-host.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you can hear me and see the PowerPoint.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So thank you so much for the warm introduction, everyone. So my name is Abhishek Subramaniam. I'm a fourth-year medical student in the southwest of England. And first of all, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the organisers of the event, Dr. Elil, Ramdil Uncle, Shivapriya, for supporting me in this process. And actually, Dr. Elil for organising events like this, because as you've just heard from Ramdil Uncle, due to events like this, I was able to actually attain my medical seat. So it's actually privilege and an honor for me to be presenting to all of you in Singapore today. So today I'd like to very briefly talk about the admission process, what type of things are involved, as well as a little bit what the future may have for you once you've completed medical school. So I'll aim to cover things like the admission process, choosing, subjects, your work experience, your extracurriculum, UCAT, choosing university, interview techniques, career in medicine. It might look like a lot now, but hopefully by the end of the presentation, everything should make sense. And I'd like you to all trust me when I say this, it is possible to do this. You just have to follow a methodical approach. So please may we go to the next slide. So the journey starts from where you are now, selecting the relevant A-levels or equivalent, which you might have done. So you have to be aware of what A-levels, IBs, or equivalent your universities are looking for in the UK, which can be found in their websites, or a small email to the admissions team can give you that information. Then you have to do things like co-curricular or extracurricular, such as work experience and volunteering, to actually get an insight of what medicine is. Because as you may be aware, medicine is a 5 or 6 year course. So you really want to be vested in it if you want to study medicine and become a doctor, because the journey doesn't end after 5 or 6 years. It's a lifelong commitment. Then you have, to do things like extracurricular activities to actually learn some, the skills required, which you can't learn out of textbook, and it comes with practice and exposure. And there's a concept called a personal statement, where it's, your perfect opportunity to shine and show the medical admissions tutors why you'd be best suited to study medicine. And not only that, how do you actually align to the values of the university and medical school? Because remember, you're also going to be an international applicant. So for you to be considered over a home student, there is of course increased competition there, which is no surprise. But then you have to show why you'd actually want to apply there. And then there's the UCAT, which is the clinical aptitude test. Then you've got the submissions through UCAS, interviews, and of course offers and meeting the grades expectations. Next slide, please. So UCAS is the Universities and Colleges Admissions Service, where you select universities. GCSEs, or your high school exams, they're looking for A stars and A's. So and which is the high level of the grades, and the A level grades is usually equivalent of A's and A stars, or the equivalent of the exams you do. And the UCAS score can be of a range depending on the university weightage, and you need the suitable subjects for your A levels. So the UCAS score information you can find in each university's website, and it ranges depending on what the university prioritizes and how they give out their offers. Next slide, please. So UCAS, you can choose any dates for that year's admission cycle, and it usually starts in the summer and finishes early autumn. So September time is the last date, towards the end of September. And it consists of various sections such as verbal reasoning, which is your English-based exams or multiple choice. You've got decision making, which is to do, your application and the way you think. You've got quantitative reasoning, which is your maths-based numeracy exam. Got abstract reasoning, which is to do with your shapes and pattern recognition. And then your situational judgment test, which is based on the GMC, good medical practice, and you taking the right steps. And some universities will look at your score holistically, and other universities will look at the breakdown of score and give you different weightage. Next slide, please. When applying to a university, there's some considerations you should make, especially for international students. And you can find this information from their website or emailing the University Institute. You want to know the applicant to offer ratio, because as well as making an application to your preferred university, it's also about being strategic to improve your chances of getting selected. So you would want to apply to a university which is known for having more international student places, because some universities have a quota of how many international students they can take. You would want to look at the selection process, and you might want to also look at, different kind of aspects of the courses. For example, if they got an intercalation year, the length of the course is at 5 or 6 years, and how easy is it for an international student to apply. The other information I've put there is, for example, if you didn't take the required A levels, then how's others ways you can study medicine. So there's something called a medicine with a preliminary year, or there's like a gateway to medicine entry, but that would be extremely competitive for international applicants. So you'd have to look into that. Next slide, please. So the way to obviously, you should choose your A levels, I'm sure you already have done this, is making sure that you've chosen the subjects which you like, which is needed for the medical school, and which you think you would enjoy and get good marks in. Because I'm sure you've all heard, the more passion and enthusiasm you show to a subject, naturally you'll feel more engaged and inclined to study further, and you would get the desired grades needed for medical school. So normally what you need are the science-based A levels, which is biology, chemistry, maths. Definitely you need biology and chemistry to actually improve your chances. But that's something you'd have to look at and make sure you understand from the universities you're looking into, that what kind of equivalence do you need to maximize your chances of getting into medical school. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is again emphasizing the need to select the right subjects, because the first criteria in your application is, have you selected the right subjects? And that is normally the starting point of the admission process. So if they see that you've not selected the right equivalents, then automatically your application might be declined, or you might struggle to even get an interview. So it's all about being strategic and playing to your strengths and maximizing your chance of getting an interview and being considered Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so to some more interesting parts, which was my favorite process of applying to medical school. It's work experience for medical application. So, you've all done a wonderful thing today by coming here. So it shows that you're passionate about studying medicine, right? But you actually have to try and understand, is medicine for you and what aspects of medicine do you like? Because the way you're going to express yourself in the interview is first based on your personal experiences and what you've seen. And you can only reflect if you've had exposure. So the way you could get exposure is by doing work experiences in your local hospitals, community hospitals, primary care services, secondary care services, or community outreach. So it's all about shadowing doctors, healthcare assistants, healthcare professionals, physios, nurses, volunteering in hospices, care homes, or clinics, and doing community work. Getting that time, participating in different healthcare programs, talking to other people, directly engaging with patients, creating that rapport, and getting involved. Sometimes medical students and doctors are looking for engaging students to actually do some research with or community work with. So if you actually put yourself out there and connect with people, you can get more exposure. Next slide, please. How did I go about organizing my work experience? It might work for you, it might not, but normally the best way is to pick up the phone and start ringing your friends or family, of course, politely. Then maybe ask your school or college. So they might have an alumni service, or they could connect you with the local hospitals. They may have a rapport with them. Then ask your voluntary group, or use social media and networking, or just write to your local hospitals. Many hospitals nowadays have a work experience program. So the more you ask, the more opportunity you get. So remember, when one door closes, another door opens. So the way I did it is just literally writing to the people I knew from my volunteering, and I volunteered in my local council, which led me to be, the member of youth parliament for my region. So that's how I used my networking to organize my work experience. So many of you might be doing similar volunteering. So please use your network and try to get as many opportunities as possible. But remember, it's not about the quantity of opportunities, it's about the quality. Next slide, please. Experience in a caring service role or paid or volunteering is all valuable. So any experience which has complementary skills which are aligned to the skills of NHS, healthcare, or just being a healthcare worker is all valuable. So it doesn't have to be in the hospital. It can be anything where it's got a caring aspect to it. Next slide, please. So as mentioned before, just get in touch with people as early as you can, because these things take time. There's paperwork, insurance, and aspects like this to consider. If you're at school, I'm sure many of you are, email people. There's also free seminars online. So the more time you spend, the better quality of placement you would find. Next slide, please. So now, you've been successful, you've got some placements. Remember, dress smartly. Some patients might not want to see their doctor with a student, so don't take this personally. Remember, confidentiality is very important. I'm sure you'll be so excited as I was for my first work experience placement, but please don't discuss patient identifiers or details outside the clinical environment where you have the permission to do so, because you will be asked to potentially sign a confidentiality agreement. It wouldn't be right for you to see a patient, socially. So if you do see a patient, socially, make sure you ask to be excused from the appointment, and try and engage with the healthcare placement provider and really ask them, what you can get out of their service, what you can contribute back to them, and let them know what you would want to get out, because remember, this is your experience. This is helping you navigate to your future. Next slide, please. This is probably the favorite word of medical school and probably my favorite aspects of medicine, reflection. So there's different aspects to reflection. There's realization, reflection, and reformation. So you have to stop and pause after a certain engagement, clinical encounter, reflect on what happened, your feelings. Was it a good, bad experience? What can you make out of the situation? What can you conclude? And how is this going to help you become a better clinician, better medical student in the future, which is the reformation part. So I would, strongly advise keeping a journal, just because it will help you applying in your medical school application. You can reflect on these things, of course, in a confidential manner in your interview, which they highly recommend because it adds that personal aspect to your journey. And I still read my reflections now from 4 or 5 years ago, and it's something nice. It just adds to your drive of being the best doctor, best medical student you can possibly be. Next slide, please. Extracurricular activities. So the reasons you should do extracurricular activities because it builds skills you can't learn from a textbook. And as you all know, the best way to learn is by doing. It helps become well-roundedness. It develops skills like leadership and communication, things like empathy, interpersonal skills. It grows your commitment and passion, and it gives you unique experiences you might have not got otherwise, as well as it's good for your emotional and mental well-being, and it gives you a good work-life balance. And it's something you can carry in your medical school, and it's something you can talk about what, not just you're going to be a medical student for them, you're going to be part of their student community. So what can you add for them? So many international students in my university, they lead cultural and community groups because they have very good experience. That's something you could do. Next slide, please. So just explain further how it can make you a better doctor, increases your communication, leadership, teamwork, collaboration, problem solving, empathy and cultural competence, resilience and stress, your commitment to service and ethical decision making. So these are points you could reflect on in your interview, because as you know, medicine, healthcare is a growing field, it's an international field, it's globalizing, and people, every country's got people of different nationalities. So it's important to be adaptive, an adaptive person and someone who's dynamic and can engage with different communities. And you can only do that through experience. Next slide, please. So these are different examples of things you could do, hospital volunteering, research, sports and fitness, cultural exchange, you might have debates, model UN, peer tutoring. So the world is your oyster when it comes to extracurricular activities. You just have to put yourself out there, find something you enjoy and you're passionate about, because not only just for medicine, it will help you as a person in general. Next slide, please. So personal statement very quickly. So what is a personal statement? It helps support your UCAS application. It's designed to help medical schools choose. I don't like the word best candidates because you're all amazing candidates. The candidate who's aligned to their medical school. Okay, so someone who would fit in well. And remember, you might not fit in one, but there's definitely one medical school out there which will fit for you. And it gives you the chance to tell admission tutors like what qualities you have and why you should be selected. Okay, next slide, please. How to approach it. So I just made a little flow diagram. So understand requirements, brainstorm, plan. You can never go wrong with planning, and there's never there's never enough planning. Start with a good introduction, highlight some of your personal achievements, such as your extracurricular ones, not to mention too many academic, because that will be in your form anyway. So discuss your work experience, which should be the bulk of it, reflection. So you talk about experience and insights, talk about your motivation, and conclude. And make sure you spend time on this. And I would say it probably took me 10 iterations, but it's always better to be slow and steady rather than doing a midnight rush. And make sure you submit it with plenty of time. Next slide, please. This is a very populated slide. I'm sorry about that. But this is just explaining what the different aspects of the UCAT is. And I've already spoken about it briefly, and I don't want to overcomplicate things. So, of course, it's the clinical aptitude test. There's the verbal reasoning, which is to do with how the way information is presented and what you can deduce from it. There's quantitative reasoning, which is your mathematical skills. Abstract reasoning, your patterns, shapes, recognition. There's decision making, give you the capacity to analyze information, which is complicated, and deduce what is going to be the next step. And situational judgment, which is again decision making, but with an ethical heart. So you have to have ethics, medical ethics in mind. So use things like the good medical practice. And I've already spoken about when you can do the UCAT, and you can do it at the local test centre. Next slide, please. Interview techniques. So you need to, as you can see, there's practice there twice. Practice is very important. Having done many mock interviews with students and helping over 55, 60 students get admissions in the UK medical schools with, around close to 6, 7 international candidates as well. Practice is very important. The way you communicate is important. The way you reflect is important. Self-reflection, research, being informed with the local media, like the UK medical news, is so important. Practicing clear communication and how to show empathy, and then reviewing your application. And the most important thing is being calm throughout the process and being yourself. I cannot emphasize that any further. Next slide, please. So yes, there's different types of interviews. There's the multiple mini interview, MMI. So you go around different stations, and different stations are testing different skills, such as leadership, communication, empathy, resilience, problem solving. Or you have a panel where you can have 2 or 3 people interviewing you, and it's a bit of like, I don't know if you've ever seen like office interview. It's just discussion, and they're trying to understand why it'd be suited for their medical school. So I would say have a structure to answering questions. Structure leads to good answer, good delivery, and it keeps you confident, especially when talking about ethical discussions. Ethical discussions could be things like abortion, euthanasia, or giving vaccines and things like that. Read the BBC Health, because that's got good information about UK medical care. There's the BMJ articles, there's PubMed, nice guidelines. And know the structure of the medical school you're applying to, because they want to know that you've read about the medical school and it's not just a tick in the box, and that you're actually passionate to go there. Next slide, please. Okay, so now let's say you're all successful. You've got into your chosen medical schools. Congratulations. What is the future going to look like? And this will be actually mean a few years. After medical school, there's this thing called foundation training, which is 2 years long. And after foundation training, some people go straight into further education, or some people do a concept known as F3, where it's an extra like foundation year, they call it F3, and you can choose to go to a different trust, get more exposure, and try out specialities you haven't had access to in foundation year 1 and 2, and have more time to decide. Or you can go into medical training for medical specialities, or you can go into surgical training for surgical specialities, or general practice training, which is, like family-based medicine. So you call them GP training. And it will all lead to different outcomes. So GP training after medical school is, and foundation years is 3 years. Then the medicine training and the surgical training are different lengths depending on different specialities and how you do well with the exams, and if you're passing them, and if you're getting into having the required exposure, the required applicants requirements. Okay. Next slide, please. How to explore your choices. So you can come to sessions like this, but sessions which are more talking about different medical specialities. You could speak to doctors or during medical school, speak to the professors, ask for more clinical exposure. So many of my friends like to do more opportunities in their free time. People like anesthetics that might go in a free afternoon, get more exposure. You just have to ask, show engagement, show enthusiasm, and you'll get more opportunities. Or you can, attend careers fairs, local medicine career fairs, talk to trainees, and just talk and understand why people select the the training pathway they do. For example, I've recently attended a general practice career fair, and had the opportunity to interact and ask all my doubts and all my questions. And I love asking questions because that's how you learn, and I recommend you to do the same. Next slide, please. So if you choose surgery, there's some things you should know. Surgery is quite a competitive area of the training, and there's complex training routes. You'll need to be hardworking and determined, as for any pathway you choose. You need good communication skills, excellent communication skills, teamwork, and the ability to lead MDT multidisciplinary teams. And this is common to all surgical roles. And you should be quick on your feet, dynamic, and you need to be resilient, have emotional and physical stamina. High levels of manual dexterity, as needless to say, you're dealing with your hands and very technical equipment as well, and you just need to be able to cope with the demands of the situation. Next slide, please. Medicine. So medicine, of course, needs similar skill sets. Needs to be a good communicator, good team worker, and the ability to lead multidisciplinary teams. And you need to be a good doctor in medicine, as well as you need to treat people holistically. And it's more of a speciality where you have, the opportunity to be holistic. You've got the opportunity to interact with a lot of people, and you potentially spending more time with the patient. Surgeons spend a lot of time with the patients as well, but you have to be a bit more able to discuss options, communicate it, and just be there as a very good team worker and leader, and you'll be working on the wards a lot. And there's lots of opportunities for research as well. So once you're in medicine, the world is your oyster. You've got lots of opportunities. You just have to go and explore. Next slide, please. So yes, sorry for overrunning, and thank you so much everyone for listening, as well as special thanks to Dr. S. Ramkumar for the additional content. And I wish you all the best, and I hope you're all successful in your future endeavors. Any questions, please do write it in the box below.
Are there scholarship actually available for students?
Can I answer this question?
Yeah, the scholarships, anything available for students to adopt?
Sure. So I haven't personally heard of any scholarships, but what medical schools do, which you can kind of consider a scholarship, is if you are a very high achieving candidate for a certain element of the modules, for example, the clinical skills, or let's say, the academic knowledge, they can give you like a prize award, which is normally monetary, or you can get scholarships and bursaries, for example, if you register into a research contest or a project context. And if you get a high grade and it's a very distinguished contribution, you can get a monetary outcome.
Okay, good afternoon, Abhishek. This is Anandan from Singapore. And you have talked about UCAT. What about the BMAT? I know some universities, like the universities which fall under Russell Group, they insist for BMAT scoring. Am I right?
Yes, so thank you so much for the question. Yes, so the BMAT wasn't necessarily there for just only Russell Groups. It was there for mostly the Oxbridge universities and a few of the London universities. But as of now, to the best of my knowledge, I've been told and notified that the BMAT is no longer going forward, and they're going to be coming up with a different system of examination. So all I am confident as of now, what's taking place is the UCAT. Many of the BMAT universities are slowly moving to UCAT. For example, one of them being Leeds. So Leeds used to be BMAT, but as of the academic year which has just gone, they moved to UCAT. So I assume that's what's going to be happening to other universities. But until there's further clarity, I just know just as much as you do.
Okay, good. Thank you. And I have another question to ask. So prior to Brexit, there's a category of students they take in, the international students, like the universities based in Scotland, they give a first priority to the Scottish, followed by English or England, Wales, then followed by European Union students. So finally, they go for international students. That means the number of seats are very, very limited for international students in UK-based universities. So post-Brexit, what I understood, so the European Union students quota is now getting into international students. That means the European Union students are not willing to come to UK to study because they are not treated at par with the British students in terms of the fees. So now they have to pay the full international students fee. So it's unlikely that the European Union students will come to UK to study. Does it mean that the seats allocated for European Union students will go to the international students?
Okay, so that's a really good question and quite thought-provoking, actually. So yes, as of last year, nothing has been officially said about more seats available for international students, but the only thing I'm sure about, it's normally more competitive and the requirements needed are normally higher. For example, even the UCAT score, generally, it's at a higher level. From your question, it's quite logical to assume that there's more spaces for the international students. However, I have still kind of witnessed that even if you're a high performing, even with the more seats, as you say, it's still difficult for international students because they still require a higher level of grades and a higher level of entrance scores. And I think the UK government's also promoting more British students to go into medicine as well. So I wouldn't be able to comment on if there's more seats for international students. I think you still have to aim for the higher grades because it's still quite competitive.
Okay, good. I have another question. I'm hearing from the market for the international students, the rating they have reduced. In the past, they used to have a AAA or A star. So now AA, B also they are taking in. Is that true? Because recently, one of my friends' son, he got into King's College from Singapore. So he only got AAB and he was able to secure an admission. So he'll be starting in September this year.
Okay, so thank you for the question again. So I think that is dependent for each university. It's very hard for me to make a blanket statement because each university operates differently. And also, when you do A-levels or or different equivalents from the countries, they are considered differently. So that's a question I think you should write to the universities of your interest, and they would be able to give you more specific details.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sir, there's another question from the ground. So they have asked, does the interview happens online or in person for international students?
Okay, yes, please call me Abby, yeah, that's fine. And I wish all of them were online for international students, but speaking to my friends who are international, unfortunately, sometimes if the university is not operating online interviews, you like any other person would have to come there and do the interviews in person. What you could do, for example, if you're really organized and good at planning, and let's say you've got your interview dates, you could try and maybe align them in a 1-week trip and make that case to the university. But that's, of course, up to the discretion of the university and if they're able to fit you into that period. But I have heard of cases where you've had to do 1 or 2 round trips. But I think the universities are moving more to the face-to-face interview model.
Yeah, I can share some information on this. Singapore is one country which sends more international students to UK universities than any other country, as far as I know. So the universities recognized by Singapore Medical Council, they come to Singapore for an interview. My daughter interview took place in Singapore. So like most of the universities, like the University of Oxford, University of Glasgow, Dundee, all these universities, they come to Singapore to do an interview. Yeah, thank you.
Is there any other questions from the dais? We can move to Ms.
Sir,
Sivapriya.
I'm so sorry to hold you up, but I was wondering on some universities require a list of achievements when you try to apply to them, and I was wondering, are there like a particular set of activities that one could embark on other than clinical experiences, or maybe inclusive of clinical experiences, which would be important to this list of achievements? So, if possible, could you like list in like ascending priority or descending priority on what activities one could embark on to add to their portfolio, or rather this list of achievements perhaps?
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, that's a brilliant question, actually. And that's a question I had. Is there a checklist? Am I missing out? And any medical student, when you're applying, you don't want to fall short, right? So you want to make sure you've done the best you can. Fortunately, there isn't a checklist as such. So there isn't a extracurricular activity you have to do. But what I do suggest from personal experience is, if you can get a range of different clinical work experience, one being in the hospital and one being in the community, that gives you different aspects of medicine. Because medicine, as you know, you've got hospital-based medicine and you've got community-based medicine. So if you can get that work experience, that's fabulous. But if you can only get one, that's still absolutely fine. I did all my work experience in the hospital, and that was 2 weeks. So I would ask you, and I'd say strongly advise you to prioritize getting the work experience. And then the next thing I'd ask you to prioritize is doing volunteering in the community. That could be volunteering in your local prayer groups, temples, church, mosques, wherever you go, Gurdwaras, or you could be volunteering with a care home, community action, food banks, etc. And having that engagement in the community, because you want to show them the medical schools that you're one for the community, you're one who likes to participate and take an active role. So I did hospital chaplaincy portering, so that's within the hospital, and I also worked with my local youth council and being the member of youth parliament. And the other thing I would ask you to do, so now you've done your volunteering, so volunteering should aim to do for like 6 months a year, over like once a week, and something which shows dedication, passion, persistence, right? So something which is on a frequent basis. After that, I would ask you to choose an extracurricular activity. It could be a sport, it could be something vocational, it could be music, instruments, where you are developing individual skills and as well as skills which shows leadership and teamwork. So, back in the day, not anymore, but I used to play cricket, I played football, I played badminton, something which just shows you're a well-rounded person, right? Something which makes you sound interesting, the types of things you would ask when you meet someone for the first time. What kind of extra stuff do you do? So there is no list, but you have to show you're a well-rounded person, someone who can compartmentalize time, and someone who's just not all about academia, but someone who has varied interests, because they really want to see who you are as a person.
Oh, I see, sir. So you included all of these activities in your personal statement?
Yes, so I didn't list them. I talked about what I learned from them in my personal statement, and I explored this further in my interviews as well as in my UCAS form. There's a section where you get references from your schools, and I asked them to talk about it. So you have to be quite harsh on yourself what things to include. I think I still had about 10 things I couldn't include, which which I was debating with myself, what should I include and what should I not include. But it's about showing what you've learned the most from. And I'm sure you all have lots of things to mention.
I see. Thank you very much, sir.
Abhi, I have a follow-up question, Abhi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
So quick question on the preparation side for the UCAT. Basically, when you do other competitive exams, which you are already doing for some reason, for say those students out of India preparing for NEET, well done. How easy is going to crack UCAT? Or how much is the, because I need your guidance on what would be a best preparation for a good UCAT score.
Okay, good. I think the main aspect of preparing for any exam is time. Give yourself time, then give yourself a strategy and have a plan. Okay, so I think that is my mantra of cracking any exam. So you can't think of UCAT as something like, another preparation exam. So this is, you need this for kind of short-term memory. So you need to prepare this for short-term memory, do the exam. Then after that, if you have those skills or not is a different thing, because you'll learn the required skills in medicine. This is to show that you've got like a taster of the skills needed in the medical, to lead a medical life. So the way to prepare is, Educate the World, they run a UCAT workshop. So if you contact Shivapriya or Dr. Ella or Ramdil Uncle, they can give you a link. So we have every week until May, there will be a workshop once weekly on different aspects of the UCAT section. So the stuff I talked about: verbal reasoning, abstract reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and situational judgment. And also, you can do MCQ questions online. So if you actually go to the UCAT official website, they have past papers, and everyone here loves past papers, right? But it's all about using them resourcefully, okay? Because past papers are always limited because it's from the past and they go so far backwards. You need to learn the content first, figure out what your weaknesses are, and then do the past papers in the simulated conditions as the exam. The more simulated practice you do, the better you'll be on the exam day, because you have to control the things in your power, which is the nerves, the environment. The performance is, really not up to you. Your score's not really up to you, but the things you can do in your control, you have to try and maximize that preparation. So I wouldn't say, nothing is hard if you practice and spend time, right? So it's all about how much time you spend and how dedicated you are to that course.
Thank you, Abhi. That helps.
It's really wonderful. Abhi, at what time they have to focus and start to plan for the action? Whether they are in the O level or early to the O level itself.
Sure. So excuse me for my lack of awareness about how the Singaporean curriculum works, but I started doing my extracurricular activities.
For the Cambridge education, they have the O level and A level, but the IB diploma, they don't have O level. They are having the straight diploma. So they're having year 6 to complete. But other than that, they have the Sec 4 and JC2.
Perfect. So I would say at least a year prior to your application, you should really start focusing on the work experience and extracurricular activities. But remember, any extracurricular activities you can remember from high school as well: cricket, football, karate, singing, dancing, instrument playing, that all counts as well. So that is, without you knowing, you've actually started working towards your medical application. But your actual work experience should be done, within a year of applying, because you'll make notes, it'll be fresh in your memory, and it'll be something easier to reflect on. And I would say start preparing for the UCAT at least 3 months in advance, because I believe when you practice without that pressure and stress, you can really accentuate your performance.
That's good. Is there any training or something practice for the UCAT before taking the real time?
Yeah, so if you get in contact with Shivapriya or Dr. Ellen Anand, we actually run a UCAT workshop, and it has lots of teaching and practice questions. And then, as mentioned previously, the UCAT websites have official mock past papers. So yes, we can definitely support you in that. So for more information, I think Shivapriya will add some more details about, you know, how to enroll with the workshop and how to stay in contact with like Educate the World and how we can best support the people here.
So the UCAT score is applicable for only in UK or rest of the European countries or global?
As to the best of my knowledge, it will be mentioned on the university's websites, but I'm pretty sure it's just for the UK.
Okay.
It's just for UK, Dr. Ram.
Yeah, okay.
None of the European university will accept that.
Okay. Thank you, Adi, for the wonderful session to cover mostly all the aspects for the people. The students must need to give more attention and preparation. Kavin, please take it.
Thank you, Dr. Abi. It was a very insightful sharing on your side. It was a very detailed version encompassing all the higher qualities and the modes of application as well. Now, I would like to open to any other questions from the grounds. Any final questions to be raised to Dr. Ram, Dr. Abi, or anyone else? Yeah, so I guess the questions are more or less answered very well by your side. So thank you a lot for your input. And it was a very insightful sharing. So thank you to Dr. Ram again for providing the opportunity for me to MC for this event as well. And I would like to thank this opportunity dearly. Would there be any other comments by our guests over here? Dr. Ram, Dr. Abi, Mr. Abi, Ms. Shivapriya, or any other guests?
Yes, sorry. So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to introduce Miss Shivapriya to make you know the final remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let us invite Ms. Shivapriya to share her comments. Ms. Shivapriya, please.
Right. Hi, everyone. Firstly, I want to thank Dr. Ramdal and Dr. Ram and ACE International PTE Limited Singapore for giving the opportunity for me to talk in today's event. My name is Priya, and I am the Operations Manager for Educate the World. Educate the World has been running since 2018, and the motto for our company is low cost, high quality education, and we still hold to that motto today. I joined the company in 2020, and I've seen how much of an impact it has made on hundreds of medical students in the UK. We have conducted more than 18 UCAT and BMAT sessions, workshops on studying medicine abroad, delivering into dentistry in the UK, personal statements, hot topics for medical interviews, and mock MMI interview practice, and this was all done within the last year. We have also been doing one-to-one tutoring for medical school admissions and interview practice. In 2023, we had 1,557 students attend our sessions, and we have done over 122 hours of sessions, ranging from the events that I listed previously. Across the years, we have helped multiple medical students get into their desired medical schools, and those students, as a token of thanks, have come back and have become tutors in our company and are now teaching and running sessions for prospective medical students. Abhishek is an example of this. We've had many success stories from both parents and students. And if you'd like any further updates, you can join our WhatsApp group. I posted that link in the chat box. And if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Educate Medical LLP, and you'll find videos from our previous events and workshops. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I pass it back to Dr. Ram. Thank you.
Thank you for opening the tie-up as well as the collaborative opportunity to support for the needy people who are in the remote area, may not approach well for the requirements and other information. Mr. Anandan also mentioned because he has the experience to admit his daughter a few years back. Like that, very few available, but we have to focus well for the spreading of this particular information in the countries where we have to touch upon with the talents who wanted to aspire and become the medical student in UK. Thank you, Priya, for giving this short notice of time. You have prepared well.
Sorry, I think I have a final question. I think probably this is an important question.
Yes.
Because of the acute shortage of doctors, not only in UK, Europe, and most of the Western world, even in Asian countries like in Japan, Australia. So what happens now, especially in UK, the universities, they are not able to increase the number of intakes or seats. So now they are setting up campuses in countries like in Malaysia, Malta, other European countries and Middle Eastern countries. So also they have a tie-up with some universities in Malaysia. So where the students can enroll, I think from Singapore, that's becoming a more and more popular route. Students, they study in Kuala Lumpur. I can't remember the name of the university. And they have tie-ups with many universities in UK, Australia. Anyway, we only talk about UK. Even top universities like University of Aberdeen, Dundee, Bristol, all these universities, and they finish 3 years in Kuala Lumpur. They come to UK for the final 2 years, and then they graduate, and they are getting an employment FY and F2, and then they start working in UK. So can anyone confirm your students coming from this path?
Actually, there is one institute, International Medical University. I think it
yes,
is from,
yes. Yeah, that's right. Malaysia. That's a very
they
popular
in,
one.
Kuala Lumpur. They are
Kuala Lumpur. Yes.
Well.
So what happened in that route? The fees also probably 30 or 40% lower. One can save the tuition fees. Although this is called a twin program, probably to come back to Singapore will be a challenging issue. Whereas getting an employment directly into UK NHS is a pretty straightforward. I think this is the most popular route now of late. I'm hearing a lot of students are going through this route.
Yes, I think I might be able to add some further information on this. I recently tutored someone from India who applied to Newcastle, but Malaysia branch. I think this might be the university you're referring to. And there is Queen Mary's London in Malta.
Yes.
Yes. So I was first surprised. I didn't realize there was a Newcastle in Malaysia, but then I figured out it was a university which had a campus in Malaysia. From reading about the university, so I'd advise everyone to check the website themselves. But I think they designed the curriculum in Newcastle, Malaysia branch, which suits the Malaysian medicine and the GMC. And there's an opportunity to spend something like an elective or a couple of weeks to months in Newcastle as well, because I think to study Newcastle to the GMC UK standard is one thing, but to experience how it is in clinical practice is another thing. So they give some time and opportunity for individuals to come and study in the UK and see how things operate, as well as vice versa. I think people from Newcastle can also go to Malaysia because it's a dual program. And same for Malta as well. People from Queen Mary's London can go to Malta, and people from Malta they will have opportunities to go to London. So that is there, and I think it means you can practice medicine in the UK because it's GMC recognized and accredited, as well as in the country of where you've learned. But the only difference I think it would make is, I think it's a huge privilege and honor to practice medicine in the country you've learned it, because you are used to the way of how things work. So I think the theory aspect of medicine and the application of medicine are two different things. And exposure really helps, as I was mentioning before. So you have the opportunity, but if you have the desire to work in the UK with a long-term goal, I would say try and study here, because then you would have made a network, you'd become comfortable. I think the concept's like driving, the principle of driving is same everywhere, but you'd be more comfortable driving in the place you've learned, right? So yes, so that's what I'd like to say about this.
No, the reason why they choose, I totally agree with you. The reason why they choose this route is, they are able to save the cost 30 to 40%, Whereas coming directly to UK, now the fees has gone up. During my daughter's year, now she's graduating in 2 months' time. It's only £40,000. Now it has gone up to £50,000 from effective from last year, I think. It's £50,000 per year. Whereas for UK students, it's only still 9,500. Am I right?
Yes. So 9,250.
250. Whereas Scottish students, they only pay £1,500. Those who are studying in Scotland.
Okay, so is the question? So I guess that's depending on everyone's personal situation, and
Yes.
you have to evaluate what works well for yourself as an individual. Yes, but I can completely understand these are all important aspects to consider when making a decision.
That's right. Thank you. So I thought, okay, let me share this as well, at least for the potential students, so they can also, if they have a financial constraint, so they have another option, going through Malaysia.
I think another thing you can think about, if your country you are in have any incentives of sending students abroad. If you're a high-performing student, I know some countries in the Middle East, they actually promote their students to go abroad, and they will help with the educational costs. So that's probably something you can look into, but I have no further information on this.
In Singapore, they used to have it bursaries, $150,000. They used to some sort of bursaries they used to give, and with a bond of three years bond, they have to come back and then serve the Singapore healthcare system for 3 years. But I don't know whether they're still existing.
Thank you for making the conversation very viable and meaningful. Hopefully, we received a lot of information from this session. Kavin, maybe conclude the session now. Thank you, Abhi, for your wonderful presentation, as well as the answers to the questions, whatever it may be. Really, we will continue our relationship to build very strong and help other students. Maybe this time here, somehow mid-semester exams and other things going on. Many people, they are having their commitment for the oral examination and other commitments, assignments and all. So hopefully we will arrange once more, or we will plan something in the near future, the physical workshop as well as coaching session that we will plan and make it possible for the students here. Thank you. Over to Kavin.
Thank you, Ram.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful interactions.
Thank you, Dr. Ram. This session served to be very beneficial to all of the students who are aspiring to pursue a medical degree in the UK. Thank you to Mr. Abhishek, Ms. Priya, Dr. Ramdil, Dr. Yelil Anand, and Dr. Ram. Thank you for the opportunity provided for me in being a host to this event, along with thanks a lot to our prestigious and distinguished guests who have spoken their details in the career and proximity. thanks you to all of the guests who have come here to like pay attention to gain more knowledge on this experience as well. So thank you to our audience and thank you to those who raised the questions as well. So it has been a very fruitful session.
Thank
Over
you.
to
Thank
Dr.
you,
Ram
Kavin,
for
for
any.
your
Yeah.
wonderful support. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I think Shivapriya has already sent the contact details for the company if any of you have further questions. It should be in the chat. There should be a link to join the WhatsApp. Or I can ask Shivapriya to put the link again. I don't know if you've all had time to press it.
Yeah, I will collect and send to all the attendees today, as well as the registrants who missed to join today. We will arrange some other session, as I mentioned earlier. So we will keep in touch and explore the possibilities and supports. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kavin. Thank you, Dr. Ram. That was a very good session, actually. We'll
Thank you,
continue
sir.
to interact here for the future. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you,
We will
sir.
discuss and we
Dr.
will
Ram, for the
explore.
opportunity, and thank you, Kavin, for hosting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, team. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.